Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Good morning, folks. Happy Monday. Great to have you all here. Um, Love to see this is a week seven, I believe. Week seven of the Monday morning club quarterback. Uh, and so I watched a lot of tennis this weekend. My daughter was up at the USTA National Campus and played a level six round robin, 5 matches over 2 days. Got home late last night. Well, not late. I got to watch the what was it? The Broncos Chiefs game, which was interesting. And as Tony Romo said, there might be a changing of the guard in the AFC North because the Broncos now are, I think, 9-2, and the Chiefs are 5-5. I think it's the roughest start since 2015 for the Chiefs. There's a changing of the guard for sure there in the AFC North. Broncos were just too good. Defensively was fantastic, even with a couple of stupid penalties on like an interception. The Broncos were too good. And then I got to watch a little bit of well, no, I watched most of the Eagles and Lions game. That ended up being a defensive battle. It was again, both games were defensive. But the Lions just didn't click last night. I think the defense was just too good for the Lions on the Eagle side. And speaking of defense, so that's what I was going to focus on today is putting out fires at your club or with your client club or in your department, putting out fires and playing that defensive role. Um, I've talked about this before, but never on Monday Morning Club Quarterback, and it reminds me that this year, this weekend was an M&M tournament. We call it the M&M Classic M&M. It's a real estate firm in town that does a big charity 90 player tournament where I am helping out at the Boulevard in the winter. And last year there was it was the same tournament, and there was a couple of fires that I had to put out. One 24 hours later resulted in the resignation of a member, basically because she was going to get thrown out. But what I wanted to go back to is the defensive nature of our roles, of our jobs as department heads or as chief operating officers or general managers or even board governors when it gets to disciplining a member at a member owned club. The first thing is listen. When a member comes up to you and has a complaint, it's usually well founded, usually, not always, but usually has some substantive issue to that complaint. And the number one thing is that member, that client wants to vent and they want you to listen. That's usually half the battle. If you listen and you are attentive and you don't go on your phone and check your text while they're complaining, half the battle is done. After you listen, and listening lets them, the more you listen, it lets them create their argument and either make it stronger, or the more they talk, the weaker it gets sometimes too, because they start talking cross purposes, they start self contradicting themselves. So I tend to just listen and say, tell me your side of the story. Tell me your story. What happened? What's wrong? What's wrong with today? What happened in the department? And I listen. I never try to solve something right there. And I think this is the difference between sexes too. Men are we like to solve issues. We like to go out and just fix things. And women are better listeners, and that's been proven scientifically. And I as I get older, I try to listen and listen more before I act. And so this episode last year was a great one as an example. So what happened was we had a couple of it's a charitable tournament, so it's open well beyond members. It raises money for the Marty Fish Foundation, which teaches juniors in underprivileged schools here in Indian River County, Florida, gets them on the court with certified instructors and introduces the game of tennis and health to our uh, inner city basically kids. So last year at this tournament, we had a couple of people playing in the tournament that were from New England. Actually, I knew them, and they were friends of mine. They came down, And we had about 8 people come down from my northern clubs, and 2 of them were very good 3.5s, and they were rated as such. And one of the members took notice of their rating and questioned their rating, and so they came and complained to me. This member came and complained to me and said that these 2 ladies aren't very good, are too good for their rating, and their rating is too low. And so I went to the USTA site and I checked, and the rating was 3.5. So they were in the right flight. And I can't say that 3.5 in Florida is weaker than 3.5 in New England. It's usually the other way around. But those USTA ratings carry a lot of weight. So the flight went on, and these 2 ladies from New England got into the final, and they beat another pair of local ladies pretty handily. But during that tournament, they were subjected to some abuse, verbal abuse. One of the ladies from New England kind of broke down, and it was not a pretty sight. And on the way home, I went to say goodbye to the tournament director, who had done a great job. And one of the women that had criticized the ratings and had brought to my attention made a kind of a tawdry remark to me. Now, previous in the day, my daughter had been playing the tournament, and she ended up getting rushed to the ER with a concussion because she got hit by a really hard 110-mile-per-hour serve in the temple. And the gent that had hit that was walking behind me when this member made this kind of lewd and lascivious remark to me, which I replied in a curt way saying, I wouldn't socialize with you. That's what she had asked. That she said, would you socialize with me, or am I not good enough? And I said, given her behavior today, I don't think that would be a wise thing for me to do right now. I went on and I went to say goodbye to my tournament director and left the premises, and I slept on it. And the next morning, and remember, we're a commercial club. I was going to go to the owners of the club and ask for that member to be thrown out. And funnily enough, before I could do that, she called and resigned her membership. So I listened to her the whole day. I made one comment back that it wouldn't be appropriate for me to have a drink or a beer with her because of her behavior. And I went home and slept on the entire episode. What was funny was that the gent behind me who had hit my daughter turned to this member that then resigned and said, the question you should have asked, Ed, was how's your daughter in the ER? So yeah, those days are tough. And as directors and managers, we have to listen, put them in perspective, fight the fire if you need to, but don't overreact, and you don't have to react right away. Nothing's going to happen that's disastrous in 6 to 12 hours. You can always sleep on it. And that's the Monday Morning Club quarterback today. Today is Monday, November 17th. I hope you all have a great week. Again, my name is Ed Shanafy with BeyondTheBaselines.com, and we're here every Monday morning at 9 a.m. for a quick snippet of help, mentoring, and hopefully some more guests coming on. I've got a couple scheduled for December, and I think you'll be surprised as to who I bring on. But till next Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, this is Ed Shanafy signing off. Monday Morning Club quarterback. Take care, all. Have a great week.